Giving. When God blesses you financially, don't raise your standard of living. Raise your standard of giving. Mark Batterson. The 2009 Forbes list of billionaires had just been released. As we were listening to the news, Devang commented, "Every year it's the same story. Bill Gates is the richest man in the world again. So boring." While he is the richest man on this planet, do you know that he is also the man who has given more to charitable causes than anyone else? Every so often he comes to India to review projects his foundation supports. He is constantly looking out for opportunities to give. Don't you want to learn more about Bill Gates, the man who changed the way we lead our lives? I asked, hoping that Devang would say yes. I guess I would, considering that if it weren't for him, we wouldn't have windows. And so, we embarked on another of our customary father-son research projects and found enough to keep us engaged for a while. Bill Gates left Harvard without completing his course to co-found Microsoft. At the age of 31, he became the youngest self-made billionaire in history. Under his leadership, Microsoft grew into one of the most successful corporations in the world. In 1998, he became the richest man in the world and has consistently held that position every year other than 2010 and 2011. In 2014, his net worth was USD 81.5 billion. After his mother's untimely death from breast cancer at the age of 64, Gates founded organizations to address causes that were close to his mother. When Gates was getting married, his mother wrote to his bride, Melinda, "From those to whom much is given, much is expected." In 2000, Gates, along with Melinda, founded the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The Gates Foundation supports education, agriculture, financial services, information technology, and health projects in more than 100 countries and all states of the US. The largest allocation of funds has been to health, notably to the promotion of vaccination. Eradication of polio has become a mission for Gates. As of 2014, Bill and Melinda had donated USD 30.1 billion. What is remarkable is that over 95% of their wealth has been pledged to their foundation, which will spend all the money within 20 years of their passing. Gates once said in an interview, "Money has no utility to me beyond a certain point. Its utility is entirely in building an organization and getting the resources out to the poorest in the world." In his famous Harvard commencement speech in 2007, he had said that the foundation was conceived when he started thinking, how can we do the most good for the greatest number with the resources we have? Warren Buffett and Bill Gates have been friends since 1991. Buffett has been among the world's 4 richest men since 2000. In 2006, he made a dramatic announcement that he would give away 85% of his Berkshire Hathaway stock to charity, with the vast majority pledged to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In 2014, Buffett had gifted more than USD 17 billion to the Gates Foundation. What makes Buffett's generosity extraordinary is that he decided to give his money to a well-established charity rather than create one of the greatest philanthropic organizations in the world in his name. Gates and Buffett together founded the Giving Pledge, Set up in 2009, this campaign encourages the wealthiest of the wealthy across the globe to pledge most of their wealth to philanthropic causes. By 2014, 127 billionaires had signed the pledge, together pledging more than USD 200 billion. Azim Premji, the chairman of Wipro, has pledged USD 2.3 billion and become the largest contributor from India. While the generosity of Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and other billionaires is exemplary, does one need to be rich to be generous? Not at all. Jorge Munoz is an immigrant from Colombia who lives in New York. By day, he drives a school bus, but in the evening, he has taken on an even more important job. He feeds hungry construction workers in Queens. Munoz gets up at 4:45 a.m. to plan the meal he will serve. After he returns from work, he fills his truck with food that his mother helps prepare and at 9:30 p.m. distributes food to dozens of laborers. He spends USD 200 a week, a third of his earnings, on providing these meals. His mission to serve the construction workers each day of the week leaves him no time for friends, hobbies, or leisure. When asked what drives him, he said, "I know these people are waiting for me and I worry about them. You have to see their smile, man. That's the way I get paid." If it was not for their guardian angel Munoz, dozens of construction workers would not know where their next meal was coming from. P. Kalyanasundaram, who was recognized as the best librarian in India and also one of the top 10 librarians in the world, led an exemplary life. As a college student, he wanted to contribute his gold chain when India was at war in 1962. The chief minister had sent him away, urging him to donate something he had earned himself. That incident left a mark on his young mind. For 35 years, he donated his entire salary to help the underprivileged. To meet his daily needs, he did odd jobs. Palam, the organization he established, collects donations and distributes them among the needy. In my own experience as a pediatrician, I have seen numerous heartwarming instances of giving. Nihal Upadhyay was all of 9 months when I first saw him. He had been referred to us from Guwahati. He suffered from an inflammatory condition of the liver. Afflicted by jaundice in the first few weeks of life, scarring of the liver, called cirrhosis, had developed. The only treatment for Nihal was a liver transplant. Nihal's paternal aunt was found to be an appropriate donor. The family was determined to save the child but expressed their inability to raise funds for the transplant. The hospital and the clinical team were happy to perform a free transplant but still needed money for all the medicines and consumables. I decided to request a TV news channel to put an appeal for donations. The next morning, I received a call from the former cricketer, TV commentator and host Navjot Singh Sidhu asking me how much money was needed. I told him, "Please give us whatever you deem fit." Navjot sent us a check for rupees 18 lakh. Out of that, 6 lakh was used and the remaining 12 lakh was put into a fixed deposit. the interest on the fixed deposit pays for the anti-rejection medicine that Nihal needs. Navjot did not seek publicity. When I met him to express our gratitude, he said, "Call me anytime you face a similar situation." Over the years, I have seen so many individuals come forward to help families. Often, these are individuals who have never met these families and may never connect with them as well. Their spirit of giving without seeking any recognition, any praise, or any gratitude makes them special. Parul Tuli, Shona Nath, and Jasmine Chadda are three such people. Whenever a case for which financial help is required comes in, all I have to do is give them a call and treatment is made possible. All three of them have this desire to help children with limited means who need liver transplants. They belong to a rare breed of people who believe in giving for the sake of giving. Nothing more, nothing less. Children are usually generous. During the winter holidays, Nandini, Devang and I wanted to spend a day with Nandini's sister Preeti and her 14-year-old son Divij. While Nandini, Preeti and I were relatively free, Divij was not available as he had a commitment. He and his friends were busy providing a nice meal to underprivileged children. Over several weeks, Divij and his friends had been collecting money from neighbors and also making generous contributions from their pocket money. They had managed to collect rupees 10,125. When we met him a week later, Divij told us about his experience. The original plan had been to feed 200 children, but because the response was overwhelming, they ended up serving 326 children. As some of the children were too small to eat themselves, they fed the infants with their own hands. I asked Divij, "How did you come up with this idea?" Divij explained, 2 days before Diwali, Mom and I were going to buy firecrackers. Next to a food stall on the street, I saw 2 children who seemed hungry. Mom suggested that I should buy food for them. As though those 2 children were eating, more children came up to the stall and lined up for a plate of chole kulche. In 1 hour, I ended up buying food for 62 children. Even though I used up 3/4 of the money I had been given for firecrackers, I felt a unique sense of satisfaction. I decided that around Christmas I would organize something bigger. I discussed this with my friends and we decided to organize this. We will now do this 4 times a year. Watching the glow on his face and hearing his enthusiasm, I knew that a 14-year-old had discovered the joy of giving. There is growing evidence that giving is actually beneficial to the giver. Research has shown that acts of kindness result in an increase in serotonin, which is a neurochemical that alleviates depression. Increase in serotonin results in mood elevation and decreases anxiety. In functional MRI scans, regions of the brain that are activated on receiving money show even greater activation when money is given away. Christine Carter, PhD, is a sociologist and happiness expert at UC Berkeley's Greater Good Science Center, whose mission is to teach skills for a thriving, resilient, and compassionate society. In an article titled "What We Get When We Give," she writes that people who volunteer tend to get fewer aches and pains. Even just observing someone else engaged in charity was shown to increase the level of immunoglobulin, an important antibody in our immune system. Stephen Post, who co-authored the book Why Good Things Happen to Good People, offers sound advice. One of the best ways to overcome stress is to do something to help someone else. In an experiment published in Wellbeing, The 5 Essential Elements by Tom Ruth and Jim Harter, individuals were given money to spend. The participants were assigned to spend the money on personal items, buy a gift for someone, or give it to charity. The participants who spent the money on a gift or gave to charitable causes experienced a boost in well-being. In contrast, those who spent it on themselves did not. Most of us are so busy chasing material gratification and amassing wealth that we often forget what Saint Francis of Assisi had said, "For it is in giving that we receive." It is not surprising that our children follow us in our pursuit for more. Our children should see us give without expectation, give without recognition, and give for the joy of giving. When we do that, they are likely to follow. We could encourage our children to give anything, whether it is a book, a toy, or a chocolate, to someone who is not as lucky as them. It could be something small. Something small will, over time, lead to giving something bigger. Once they discover the joy of giving, they will need little encouragement. I have noticed that girls find it easier to share and easier to give. In my clinic, the girls nearly always ask for an extra candy for their brother, but brothers seldom do. Girls will happily share toys and games in the waiting room with other children. Boys find it a bit harder. Maybe that is the way nature has programmed boys and girls. Parents of boys, therefore, need to start earlier and work harder to get them to learn to give. Giving is not only the right thing to do, it is also beneficial for the physical and mental well-being of the giver. We need to remember what Mahatma Gandhi said, "The fragrance always remains on the hand that gives the rose." One of the best gifts we can give to our children is to teach them the joy of giving. Give all, gain all. M.K. Gandhi.